Florida State rolls Wake Forest on the road, winning 41-16 and improving to 8-0 for the first time since 2014. I was talking with a few of my buddies, and of course, outside the marquee wins like LSU and Clemson, this may be my favorite win of the season so far. Of course, you had other good wins against teams like Duke and Syracuse, but Wake Forest is one of those teams that's beaten you 3 years in a row now. And similar to NC State, Wake is one of those conference rivals that's always sort of a thorn in your side. They, of course, run that weird, annoying slow mesh concept on offense that I'm sure you guys know and have heard about all week long. Even though they actually didn't run it quite that much on Saturday, but I never truly bought into the fact that this game had too much risk of an upset. Shout out Kirk Herbstreit. But a new kickoff game on the road against a team who just kind of seemed to have your number these last several years, I thought maybe things could get a bit sloppy at times. So safe to say I didn't really expect such a dominant performance out of this team in this game, but man, that's exactly what they delivered. There was a point in that game in the first half where Jordan Travis had like 200 yards passing already, and Wake's QB, I believe his name was Mitch Griffiths, literally had 2. Jordan had an absolute Heisman caliber day, amounting for almost 400 yards and 4 touchdowns, 3 passing and 1 on the ground. And man, I'll say this. One of my favorite moments in games is where Jordan Travis breaks off a big run or runs in for a touchdown, and he gets up and he starts beating his chest. You seen it Saturday. You seen it against Duke last week. You seen it last season against Clemson and Florida at times. But man, watching that, I get so hyped. But defense also had a good day, holding Mitch Griffiths to only 6 completions for 82 yards. Defense also racked up 5 sacks and 10 tackles for loss. There was a few big plays that Wake was able to squeak by on us, and some officiating there in that third quarter that was questionable, to say the least. Really throughout the entire game, honestly. But the game got played, and Florida State dominated in every category on Saturday. What's even more impressive about Jordan's numbers and the offense's production in general is that you were without 3 of your top 7-ish receivers. Most notably, your 6'7" monster receiver Johnny Wilson was out, along with freshman receivers Hakeem Williams and Destin Hill, who have actually been coming along nicely and starting to see a solid portion of game reps. So to go out there, down a couple guys, and still achieve 41 points against this Wake Forest team that actually does have a pretty good defense, and he threw all over them for most of that game. They made the mistake of trying to single cover Keon and quickly learned that was a bad idea, even with that seatbelt guy they have. And again, I just want to go ahead and give him more and more praise because every week he just continues to show that he's one of the best receivers in college football right now. And I'd argue that he's starting to make the case for the best receiver. Credit to Trey Benson as well. Didn't exactly light it up in the running game, but did have about 55, 60 yards rushing, then also 100 yards receiving, a lot of which came off a really nice screen pass that he turned into an absolutely massive play just by doing what Trey Benson does, bouncing off defenders, turning on the jets, also showing why he is still such a vital piece to this offense. I'm also not too sure what else to say other than just an overall dominant performance through and through for this team. Oh, I will say that the icy white uniform combos are super clean, and that's probably my favorite combo outside of the traditionals, of course. But yeah, Mike Norvell and Jordan Travis finally get to beat Wake Forest, putting down another win against a conference foe. I think very similar to last season, we're seeing this team kind of hit their stride going down the final stretch of the year. And considering we're already 8-0, eyeing a conference championship game and college football playoff and all that, you got to love playing your best ball right now, picking up a dominant win just a few days before the first playoff rankings come out on Tuesday night. Obviously, they still don't matter much at the moment. You just keep winning games and the rest will take care of itself, of course. But I'm just glad that, the playoff rankings coming out actually matters somewhat to FSU again. So lots of good stuff. Real quick wrap up of, some other stuff that happened this weekend. Oklahoma was upset by Kansas, so they're not quite nipping at FSU's heels anymore. They also cost me on a parlay with that one. Washington survived in a close call against Stanford. Miami barely survived in overtime against a bad Virginia team. Clemson took their 4th loss of the season against NC State. Louisville dominated Duke. As we go on, we're starting to see more and more of that ACC championship game picture kind of starting to take shape. I'd say right now it looks like we're going to play Louisville or North Carolina. But believe it or not, Virginia Tech and Georgia Tech are 3rd and 4th, respectively, in the ACC. So they also have a chance to get in. And remember, Georgia Tech has that tiebreaker with Miami as well. Obviously, I would definitely prefer to rematch against Virginia Tech, but as we get further along, I'm not really too worried about anybody. Whoever it is that lines up against us at this point, I trust this team to take care of business, and especially if we're healthy, I don't think there's anybody in the country that can stop us. So on the Pitt this Saturday, another road ACC game that we should definitely take care of business there. I'll keep an eye out for the health status of guys like Johnny, Hakeem. Although I don't think you should even need them in this game, but it'll be good to get them back. At least know that they're healthy. I'll also be watching that playoff show on Tuesday night. I think Florida State should come in the top four for sure. I'd argue that they should even be 2 or 3, but we still seem to be lacking a little bit of respect from the national media. Of course, it's Florida State. We're used to it. Again, like I said, just keep winning games. We'll be fine. It'll all work itself out. Now, I'm thinking about starting to do live shows to recap games and maybe even throughout the week some to preview upcoming games and talk about recruiting or whatever else might be going on at the time. We're coming up on National Signing Day. We're finishing out the season, hopefully getting some real postseason buzz here soon, and then on to the transfer portal window and all that stuff. So lots of good stuff coming up. Let me know in the comments below, though, if you guys would like to see some live stuff. I think it'd be kind of cool to take questions from you guys, talk with you guys. So let me know what you think. Also, let me know down in the comments who would you guys like to play in the ACC Championship game in Charlotte. And as always, like, subscribe, and let's talk Noles. Have a good week, guys.